Hello dear students, welcome back to our mechanical engineering Made simple channel. So the other day we have discussed the bits from 1 to 40, and today we are going to discuss 41 to 58 bits of engineering materials with mechanical properties as our chapter. Okay, so now let us straight away jump into the subject. So 41, the indentation angle in case of micro hardness test measurement is 177 degrees. Okay, so it is when it is in Rockwell it is 120. For Rockwell it is 120 degrees, and Vickers it is 136 degrees, and Noob test or micro hardness test it is 177 degrees. So you can easily remember, so 0 degrees is not the answer, so you can choose A as the answer. Okay, right. Next, the dielectric strength of a material is the ratio of the, so this is basically vacuum is taken as the reference medium, and it is the ratio of the capacitance of the material to that of the vacuum. That means how many times the capacitance of the material is more compared to the capacitance of the vacuum, that is given by the dielectric strength. So your answer is A. Next question. Creep is a mechanical property of the materials which is time dependent strength, time dependent temperature or thermal, plastic deformation. So you have to remember the three keywords which are very important: time dependent, thermal and plastic deformation. So if any word is missing, it is not the answer. So here it is time dependent strain. So creep is time dependent thermal, plastic deformation. Okay, so this is normally observed in boilers and gas turbine blades and also condensers. So because actually they are subjected to thermal cycles, continuous temperature they are exposed to. Okay, so boiler tubes, your gas turbine blades and heat exchanger tubes, etc., they are subjected to continuous thermal or heating cycles. So creep is normally found in such type of components. So your answer is A. Next question. Which of the following test is performed determines the endurance strength of the limit of the material? So this is your fatigue test. Okay, so fatigue test is related to the endurance strength and fatigue limit, that is called endurance limit. Your answer is D. Next question. Okay, so here the impact strength is a combination of, this is a combination of toughness and strength. So toughness and strength go together, and the combination of this is going to give the impact strength. So your answer is B. Next, the impact strength can be measured by, so impact strength is normally measured by Izod and Charpy test. So we have discussed about this test also in my previous videos. If you have got any doubt, please refer to my previous videos. I have given number of videos which are example for your GATE examination and all competitive examinations, and probably sometimes useful for your academic examination also. Please watch my playlist and you will get all your doubts cleared. Okay, next, the impact strength can be measured by, that's what we have seen just now, it is Izod and Charpy test. Malleability is the ability of the material to withstand to compressive load. Okay, so normally what happens in it is the ability of the material to be drawn into the plates under the compressive load. Okay, under the presses, etc. So in the press normally the load is compressive load only. So forging is one of the machining process that is involving the compressive load. So and here malleability is the ability of the metal to withstand to compressive load. So neither the tensile nor the cracking tendency or none of the above. Okay, so tensile load is normally related with the ductility of the material. So tensile load and compressive load, tensile load for ductility and compressive load for the malleability. Next, resilience is the ability of the material to absorb energy when it is elastically deformed. Okay, so resilience and toughness. So resilience you have to consider within the elastic limit, and toughness it is up to the fracture or breaking point. The energy stored up to the breaking point is going to give the measure of the toughness, and resilience is going to give the energy stored within the elastic limit and up to the elastic limit or yield point. So accordingly you can call it as okay, so resilience. Okay. Next, soldering material is generally an alloy of tin and lead. So various types of solders are there. Okay, so basically the two materials which are there in a solder metal are the tin and lead. Okay, so depending upon the percentage of tin and lead, so they are going to be categorized into three, so that we can discuss in the production subject. So for the time being, let us only concentrate. That soldering material is the generally an alloy of tin and lead. Next, workability is otherwise known as formability. So, forming and working both are same words, actually they are synonyms. So, forming is you are forming the metals to your required shapes. Similarly, workability and formability both are same. Answer is B. Next, the machinability of copper alloys are enhanced by alloying with metals such as cobalt and nickel. So, cobalt, nickel are the two metals which are used with copper alloys for improving their machinability. What is machinability? The relative easiness with which a material can be machined is going to give us the machinability, and there is something called machinability index also, and magnesium is having the highest machinability among all the materials metals. Okay, so that you can remember. So, for the time being, let us just concentrate on what is machinability and how it is improved by alloying copper with cobalt and nickel. Next question, the diamond pyramid hardness number DPH. This is your Vickers hardness test. The square pyramid is used as the indenter, and in that the diamond pyramid hardness number, Vickers hardness number is given by 1.854 P by D square, where P is the applied load and D is the diagonal length of penetration. So, your answer is B. Okay. So, next question. Next question is the best material for specific stiffness is given by the index ratio. It is going to give us the Y by P. Always your Young's modulus is related with the stiffness. What is stiffness? Stiffness is the load per unit deflection. If you want to deform the material, how much load has to be applied for unit deflection or deformation? For example, 1 centimeter you can take. Okay, how many newtons you have to apply? So, always remember that your Young's modulus is always related with the stiffness, okay, within the elastic limit. So, your answer is B. Next question. Yes. 54th question, the ability of a material to resist elastic deformation. This is given by elastic deformation, as I told just now. Okay, it is the load per unit deflection, the W by delta. Okay, that's called stiffness. So, this property is very much important in the springs. So, where the springs are used normally in the shock absorbers. For example, you are sitting on a bike, right? So, you can see that there on the right side, okay, you will have a spring, right? So, it is going to absorb the shocks. Whenever you are going to get some obstacles, you are getting, okay, some bumps. Okay, so to avoid that, so the springs are arranged or okay, made on the vehicles. Okay, so the basic reason for that is the spring is going to absorb the energy. So, what is that spring stiffness? It is given by the load per unit deflection, W by delta. So, what are the units of stiffness? Newton per meter. Okay, next question. During impact testing, a notched specimen is broken by a standard blow from a pendulum hammer. So, this is not the case, neither A, C or D. So, the penetration of a diamond cone on the specimen is going to be used in the hardness test. Okay, this is an iron ball is also pressed inside the specimen. So, these A and C are used for the measuring of the hardness, but this is for toughness. A notched specimen is broken by a standard blow from a pendulum hammer. Fatigue testing by okay, O'Hare fatigue machine is carried out by this is done by the test specimen carrying load is rotated by making the use of a motor. Because actually by rotating, what happens, the same element, for example, shaft is there, it is rotating, right? It is carrying some load. What will happen when it is not rotating? It is subjected to, for example, above the central axis, neutral axis, the upper layers are subjected to tensile stress. Let us say, okay, the load is for example, the shaft is not rotating. Okay, the upper layers are subjected to compression, the lower layers are below the neutral axis are subjected to tension, let us say, okay, depending upon the load. But when it is rotating, so the same point will undergo, it will come down and go up. So, the same point is going to subjected to variable stress, that means alternately tensile and compressive stresses. So, by making the specimen to rotate, we are subjecting the material to alternative tensile and compressive stresses. This is basically used in the fatigue testing by O'Hare fatigue machine. So, rotation, you have to remember the keyword rotation of the specimen by the use of a motor. Next question. The critical resolved shear stress can be defined as the shear stress resolved along the planes that reaches a critical value, okay, when slip occurs. So this is the critical resolved shear stress. The word critical immediately tells us that it should be the critical value, okay. So it's very clear that the shear stress resolved along the planes reaches a critical value when slipping occurs. So basically slipping is basically occurs because of the shearing of the planes, atomic planes, one over the other. So the answer is your B. Next, the fatigue strength of a material increases with the repeated cyclic stresses. Always remember that cyclic stresses, so whenever the material are subjected to variable stress or cyclic stresses, that means alternatively compressive or tensile or alternatively bending, okay. For example, it is subjected to clockwise bending moment and then anti-clockwise bending moment. Similarly, it may be subjected to alternative shear stress also, for example, okay. For example, rotation of the shaft clockwise and anti-clockwise, it is subjected to alternative shear stresses. Like that, the direction of the stresses has to be reversed. So you have to remember the keywords here: repeated and cyclic stresses. So fatigue strength of a material increases with the repeated cyclic stresses. Okay, boys. So we have completed today the engineering materials with mechanical properties. We have discussed about 58 points. Okay, there are many number of bits from different chapters of the engineering materials. We will discuss one by one. First of all, we will discuss the concept, then we will discuss the number of bits. Thousands of bits are available, so we will discuss one by one. We will go by subject. Boys, my request, sincere request and earnest request with all of you that if you have not subscribed my channel, subscribe, share among your friends, among your Facebook, WhatsApp and all other your social media contacts and groups, and press the bell icon for the updated videos, and also subscribe my channel, like, comment and share. So let us meet in another video, next video, with a good concept in the next video. Okay, wish you all the best. Good luck.